So that proves I'm not bald, fat, and horribly ugly. Oh, look at this beautiful butterfly here. Oh, pink on it. Can you see it? It's got pink there. Even the butterflies run away when you woke. No. Look at him pollinating for us. Alright, so don't know what to call this video. I'm thinking when you woke up, the women will let you know. What do I mean? Well, recently I watched a video on Apache Saiyan channel, which I think is a friend of Edwin Manor. Not 100% sure, I think so, because I think he was featured on that channel. Like, Edwin's video was uploaded to that Apache Saiyan video channel, I think. Anyway, so whoever you are, Apache Saiyan channel, or if it was, I don't think it was Edwin talking, it was someone else. And the video was called The Drug Called Pussy. That was the video title, The Drug Called Pussy. And they went on about how once you, like, basically this concept, once you wake up, they don't give it up anymore. You don't get no pussy. And I can attest to this, and that's the only reason I'm making this video. Like, I'm not misogynistic. I've never been misogynistic. That's like a ingrained prejudice against women. So I'm not at all like that. And I don't think I'll ever become like that. And I mean, you shouldn't really become like that if you're going to talk like this, because then it's too easy to dismiss you. They'll just say, oh, but he's misogynistic. So don't even let them get the upper hand, So look, I'm not talking down to women or anything like that. I've said women are head of creation, man is head of spirit. I think you'll find this true over and over. Think about it really hard. I'm going to have to make other videos on it because it is like a pretty interesting and sort of not immediately visible little phrase, It can be hard to really think about that. What do you mean, head of creation, head of spirit? So I'll make other videos in the future about that. But think about it in the meantime. How man is real that direct. No, we're going to do it. And then the woman is like, hold on, think about it for creation. You know what I mean? Then we have half side of the brain out there. We all know that I'm not like his best friend or anything. I don't want to say I hate him or we're enemies, but it's almost like that, right? We were kind of rivals in the start of the organic portal movement. But he's alright, he just has a shitload of darkness on him, in my opinion. But he, as we all know, goes on about, women are largely the problem, which I agree with the generalized statement. And we're going to have to make so many videos on this, and it's coming, like, sort of MG Toe style, because the women are toxic. Even Riser 5 in Gold Ring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance literally said that. If you listen to all his series, and that is like one of the best series, I think, in the world. The visuals, his words, pretty amazing. Show me something much better. It's only like Terence McKenna and stuff, so there's not much better than Riser 5's Gold Ring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance. Hundreds of videos, really well made. Even he says in there, Richard Wigley, Riser 5, he says, the women are toxic. Now, there's, mental toxicity, and then there's the fat of the body toxicity. So you've got astral, mental, parasite toxicity, and acidity. I've said the human body, when acidic, goes satanic. So you get that they have a look. That's women and men. But you get a look, when the acidic look, you all know the acidic look. Anyway, so I find it very interesting that this is true. Because, it's not something I've held, it's just something I've noticed over the last 10 years. Since I created consciouszine.net, I got far less pussy, so to speak, right? I find it way harder to pick up women, and I find this very interesting because you all know that I can see, I see energetically, shamanically and all that, so I can see pretty well. into situations and what's going on, and psychologically, you know, shamans, we are like psychological masters as well. It's said we were the doctor, the psychologist, blah, 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 you know, back in the forest, and now it's all expanded in society. So anyway, I definitely noticed this. So when I was listening to that video, the drug called pussy, and what they were saying is, this is what whoever that speaker was saying, you know, when we were younger, yeah, you get it and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, it's like they want you to get addicted to it, like the Matrix, they were saying, and then they take it away so that it's like something to pull you in, you see. And I went, yeah, you're so right about that. And the more I've thought about this, the more I've been noticing it, and I've played with it. I mean, just with looks, I've also approached women to test this, right? So I've scientifically observed and I've tested the theory. And like I said, since 2012-ish, you know, the great eschaton at the end of history, at the end of individual cultural human history, when I made Conscious Zine in around 2012, from then on, it's been like this. Far less pussy. And I find it interesting. Some spiritual women, yes, but no chance anymore with the societal girl. No chance. I've tested it, and I can just see by looks and other interactions, I can tell what's going on. It's like they can sniff you, and it's like they can sniff you out, and they can sense that there's something different about you. And it's not that they're getting a fear or been scary. I don't even look scary. I'm not super ugly, you know what I mean? I'm not a fat, bald, bloody, I don't know, 500 kilo man. Come on, right? I'm a blonde hair, blue-eyed, olive skin Australian surfer. That's not exactly, you know, the ugly end of the spectrum. Right? It's not tall, dark, and handsome, but you know, it's not, you know, fat, bald, old guy either, is it? So this is my point. You know, so you can't put it down to anything like that. And I guarantee you, if you really think about this hard, you other guys who are, you know, getting into your enlightenment nature, it's like, you know how we agitate organic portals? I see that as part of the interaction. It's like they get a weird little agitation, and it's like they're not sure about you, but they're not even sure what they're not sure about, because they're not like super conscious or anything. It's so interesting. It's very subconscious. I find this super interesting. It's like they sense that they're not able to control you. That's what it seems like to me. They can sense that, oh, I'm not going to be able to control this guy with my pussy, or with the thought of my pussy. You know what I mean by that? Like, they're not going to be able to lead you around like a little dog man on a leash and have you, you know, bark at every order and do exactly what they want you to do. And that is what these women want. I'm not saying that's what the spiritual women want. The spiritual completed woman, you know, who's had the inner divine marriage, divine masculine, divine feminine, the proper woman, the proper awakened woman, if she, you know, is interested and, or if she feels she has to play a divine role, she will help you and aid you. I've had that loads. We see that in movies, up the yin-yang. That is how it is. I'm talking these societal bitches and these narcissistic type of women, and, you know, obviously organic portals as well. All of those people, right? The sleepwalking kind of people. I just call all these people societals, whether they're soulless or not. They can just be a sleepy soul. But this one thing I know, it's like they can sense that they're not going to be able to control you with their pussy, basically. That's why I really like the video title of that Apache Saiyan channel, you know, the drug called pussy, and I totally agree with this. From my perspective as the site creator of consciousazine.net, you know what I mean? Well, it's not nothing. It's not like a amazing, well, it's a pretty cool website, but it's bigger than most people. It doesn't just have 5 pages going here. hello, this is some like cool quotes to lure you in, here's my services, and then that's it. There's like 3 pages in their website. At least I have thousands of pages of content in there and really cool pictures and quotes and blah blah blah. You know, there's hundreds and hundreds of other people's work that I've put into that website. So, you know, it's a reasonable website. It's not nothing. So even from that perspective, as the site creator of Conscious Zine, you have to think about this, you know, that I'm coming from that perspective, not just the perspective of, you know, the blonde, blue-haired surfer guy from Australia. You know, I'm also coming from that perspective. So it's not just that, but also the Conscious Zine site creator perspective, right? I've been in the conscious movement for like the whole time, so it's not nothing. My word should be I'm not saying I'm the authority or something. I'm saying you should probably add in my view, yeah? Like, you should probably involve my view. So yeah, I've definitely noticed this, and that's what I mean by the women will tell you when you're awake. You'll know because you won't be able to get any pussy anymore. That's how you'll know if you're like really an awoken, like very spiritual person. Guarantee you, it's like this. I started noticing it, you know, a long time ago, like 8 years ago, you know, back in 2013, 2012, 2014, even in 2011, before I created Conscious Zine, when I was already like really rising up into the eschatonal energies. As far back as like 2009, you know, the eschatone period was 2007 to 2017. With 2012 at the center, that was the eschaton. Then from 2012 to 2019, we had the tribulation, and now we're just into apocalyptic energy until 2089. That's 7 11-year solar cycles from 2012. That is the official apocalypse energy. So I find this very, very interesting though, because it's true. I mean, why should it be this way? Think about it. Why should it be like this? And to me, that's what I've already said. I'm going to repeat it. To me, it looks like they can sense they're not going to be able to control you with their pussy, basically. I know how it sounds. It might sound a little, I don't know, derogatory or harsh or, I don't know, a little lewd or crude. But I think it's really the best way to word it. Yeah, you can replace the word pussy with whatever word you feel like, but you get the whole idea. The idea is accurate. It's like they can sense they're not going to be able to control you with essentially their pussy, because when you're a guy and you're in a relationship, you want to bang, you want to smash, right? You want to have sex, you want to make love, however you want to put it. So you want to make love to your partner because it is making love. You know, you make literally oxytocin, vasopressin, right? And it's like do you know what, oxytocin is the love molecule, but do you know vasopressin? Not many people talk about vasopressin. I've got that on one page in Conscious Zine. There's those 3 main things to do with sex. You also get a good dopamine hit and some serotonin, but vasopressin. And vasopressin has been associated with like the bond between a couple. Now, hold on a second. It's called vasopressing. Vasopressin. But I'm adding a G on the end, like pressing you into the relationship. And it is indeed scientifically noted, vasopressin, as like the bonding molecule for relationships. So I think they can sense that as well. That energy is not there when you meet them. They're like, oh, I don't sense his vasopressin levels increasing. So I don't know if I can hold him in the bond. So it's not just can I control him with the pussy, but obviously the vasopressin comes about from intercourse. So again, I'm accurate with that line. It's like they can tell they can't control you with their pussy or vasopressin. And that's why I added that in. Right, so I'm not just talking about it on some, I don't know, street level or lewd or crude level. I've even added in a scientific notion, and it's very true. Vasopressin is associated with the bond. The bond of the relationship is associated with the molecule vasopressin. Research it for yourself if you don't believe me, which you guys barely ever seem to. So research it for yourself, think for yourself, go check it out, and then test this theory, test what I'm saying. You know, meditate more, raise your vibration, blah, 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 and watch. You'll get less pussy. Now you're saying to me, but I see a lot of spiritual guys still getting laid. They go to all these concerts and stuff. Yeah, they're the men of perdition. Take a look at their eyes. Take a look at how I look in my face. Men of perdition, they're the same like the organic portals, and they'll get very standoffish. They're the ones that immediately have a problem with me for no reason, because I'm the real enlightened. They're really the fake woke. They go to the concerts, the Burning Man festivals, you know, they do all that. But I've noticed over and over again, so many of those guys, no, not all of them, not just because you go to like a spiritual dance party, that doesn't mean you're a man of perdition, but I've noticed so many, I don't know the percentage, but it's high. So many of these guys. There was even a concert right here a year ago. I'm going to upload that video, it's on my computer. And they were like that. Like they tried to pull me in, and as soon as they see you're not of the perdition path, they outcast you. And I had to sit back over here because like there was this one chick from Canada, and she was like talking to me, and then she tuned out. Like I was talking to her about how Canada has heat tiles on the street. I just thought that was interesting, and she just tuned out, and after that she didn't want to talk to me, and like I don't know what she wanted me to talk about then. You know what I mean? They're just stupid. They'll outcast you and try and make you feel inferior and all this. So yeah, this is very interesting. I've definitely noticed this. It's 100% true, all this. It's like the Matrix, and you know, it's like the Matrix has all these, you know, the soulless women, the societal women, whoever is inured. Doesn't matter if they're soul or soulless, or like a little bit spirited even. If they're in the frequency control, if they're under the psychotronic frequency, pardon me, if they're under the psychotronic frequency control, if you'll see the vibration, you've got to see this in vibration, right? This is how I sense all this stuff. And then once you sense the vibration, the words get passed in your pineal, and you get, you know, like English higher self coming through. You know, your higher self senses the vibrations and gives it to you in English eventually, and you'll have visions and blah, blah, blah. But this is how you have to sense this stuff. So look for their look. They're like, it's almost like an angry, acidic look once they identify you. It's the same as the organic portals. It's the same frequencies. Okay, this is what you're looking for. But hey, test this all out if you don't believe me. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. And yeah, I do think it comes down to like they can sense they're not going to be able to control you with their pussy, and they're not going to be able to, and I think they can also sense that your vasopressin levels are not rising. You're not like handing yourself over. I mean, when you meet them and you have the first, you're trying to pick up a chick or a girl, right? Sorry, I'm Australian. We say chicks. That reminds me of Cassidy Campbell, that comedy guy, his video. Oh, he done a good job with that. It's like they can sense that they're not going to be able to control you, and I put it down to vasopressin because that's the bond molecule scientifically. So, you know, check this out for yourself. So if you're still getting a lot of like pussy, you're going to like spiritual dance parties. I don't attend any, because I'm doing real great work. I don't have time to be going around doing all that. And I notice every time I go there, I'm just outcast anyway. Like within a minute, within 30 seconds, like you talk to someone and it's like they see you very quickly. Like they sense that, oh, he's not going to fall into the group. He's not capturable. That's what they sense, that they can't use their will over your will. And then they try and like embarrass you, lower your vibration, bring down your spirits. They talk down to you in certain ways. I'm talking the guys now and the women. Like not just dance concerts or something like that, but it's a good place to see what I'm talking about. And Like, you know, the spiritual raves and stuff. Sure, I've been to plenty of spiritual raves. I like, you know, after I grew up in Sunshine Coast, I moved to Gold Coast, and it's like Nimbin and stuff out in the mountains where they have all-night dance parties in the forest and they just carve their own track. Believe me, I've been to some wicked raves. But, and that's not all I'm talking about. It can happen at the street, in the mall, the shopping mall, right? But just look for what I'm talking about. It's like they sense they're not going to be able to frequency control you. That's what it comes down to. They can sense the vasopressin in you is not rising when it's, you know, the women, when you're trying to pick up a girl. And generally, if it's a man or a woman, they'll be sensing if they can frequency control you. But hey, back to the main part of the talk was, you know, about you'll know when you're truly awake, truly doing, I don't want to say God's work because I'm not religious, but magnus opus, basically. When you're doing like a corpus of light work, a great work, when you're really like spiritually woke, you will not be allowed, you won't be allowed to fit in. They're like sniffing out for this. They know you're the change particle. You're going to come into the group and you're going to upgrade everything, you're going to change everything. They are family of dark in reality. And when the body goes acidic, or the mentality, when their mental state goes acidic, I've met plenty of tofu eaters who are acidic. If you know what I'm saying. Vegan tofu guys that pretend they're spiritual, they'll even dress spiritual and everything. But look at the mind, look at the mental state, look for the satanic perdition looks, the frequency control attempts, and then back to the women. They will sense if they can control you or not. And definitely, women are somehow much more protecting this matrix. Think about it, they're the ones with the kids. They have to care about this matrix because they've got their kids. They're much more the controllers of the matrix than the men. So I find it interesting that line that I took from Rise of 5 from the Gold Ring Game of Enlightenment and Abundance. Man is head of spirit, woman is head of creation. I find that very interesting because it's relatable to this whole organic portal theme and how some people, other than me, the Apache Sane guy's video, left side of the brain even as well, see that women are very much the controllers here. Like left side of the brain, he says, you know, the women control the atmosphere. And that's also what I'm talking about, frequency control. He also copied my idea and made a video called Freak Quincy. I don't know, I think he was trying to like say that about me, whatever. Yeah, you got some muscles, but fuck am I quick left. You won't crush shit. You won't crush shit, mate. No one has ever been able to crush me in a fight. I've been rolled by 6 dudes. Nothing ever happens. I'm still pretty. You wish, jellyfish. So anyway, I just wanted to say that, you know, and I think it comes down to they sense the vasopressin. Also, they sense they can't frequency control you, which is family of dark, trying to use their will over another. Also, they're part of satanic Satan's army, as people talk about. That's what I'm talking about. And they're men and women of perdition. That's another way to say it. But look for what I'm talking about with just the normal societal girl. You go up, you try and chat and stuff. Everything's good for like maybe a minute or two. And then something gets sensed. I'm telling you. It's like, because when I'm in a conversation, I sort of like, I'm not tuning out, but I'm tuning into my higher self, bring it back down. I can't stay in like a low vibration. I don't know, I'm not talking about always the same things as them, so they sense all this. But what I really wanted to add in was the thing about vasopressin, because it's the bond molecule, and I don't know, everyone loves being scientific these days, so there you go. I'll add that in. So anyway, check this out for yourself.